I don't think Joshua has got more than one fight left in him.
Pro boxing fans here in London for the announcement press conference of Joe Joyce and Zhilei Zhang, part 2. With me, I've got a renowned reporter of boxing, been in the game for a long time, Colin Hart. Colin, first of all, how are you? How's things?
I'm still here, which is the main thing.
That is a good thing. But let's talk about this fight. Finally, the rematch, Zhilei Zhang versus Joe Joyce. We know what happened in the first fight. We know that Joe lost in quite a convincing manner. What did you make of his decision to take the rematch up straight away? A lot of people said, listen, maybe he should have taken a different route. Do you believe that this is the best choice for Joe Joyce?
Well, you say take a different route. None of the other heavyweights, apart from Usyk and Dubois, who are fighting in August in Poland, none of the other heavyweights seem to want to fight. They want to talk, but they don't want to fight. So, there was a rematch clause, and, nobody likes to lose an unbeaten record. And Joe believes he is capable of winning the rematch, otherwise he wouldn't have taken it.
In this fight, obviously we know that it was the straight backhand from Zhilei Zhang that was landing very openly. There's two questions I want to ask you about the first fight. First of all, in regards to Joe Joyce's weight, a lot was made that he came in very, very light. Do you believe for this fight he needs to come in a lot heavier?
Listen, I don't think weight has anything to do with what happened in the first fight. I mean, he's a very big heavyweight. 14 pounds lighter, whatever he was, it doesn't make any difference. His problem, and he's been doing it ever since he started boxing, he has got to move his head, which he does not do. He's now 37 years of age. He has to change the habit of a lifetime. Otherwise, Zhang will do the same thing he did in the first fight, and which is not miss Joe's head. He boxes. Unfortunately, Joe comes out in a straight line and with no head movement. And when you get up against a really good heavyweight, that is boxing suicide.
Do you believe that Joe can make them changes? He's 37 years old. It's very hard to teach somebody who's been in the game for a long time, in the amateurs, new tricks. Do you think he can?
I mean, to be realistic, I don't think at his age he's going to be much different than he's always been, which is unfortunate, but it's a fact of life. And he's got to try and obviously adopt different tactics, whatever they may be. And he's not going to tell us, obviously, at this stage, what they're going to be. But if he fights the same fight as he did the first time, the same result.
In regards to what happens with this fight, obviously, Zhang is going to be the favourite going in after what happened in the first fight. In regards to the heavyweight division, what do you believe is going on? Because it seems like you said at the start of this interview, there's a lot of talking going on. People like Zhang are fighting, Joe Joyce is fighting, but Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, Tyson Fury, and so on are so not fighting right now. What do you make of the situation right now?
Well, it's a great shame. I was very fortunate. I went through what we called the golden age of heavyweights in the 60s and 70s, when they all fought each other. Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Norton, you can go on and on, Larry Holmes, they all fought each other. It's a different world we're living in now, because these fighters are contracted to rival TV companies. That does not help negotiations. Plus the fact we've got a major spanner in the boxing works, which is Saudi Arabia. And they're all waiting to see who can make the Saudis pay enormous sums for these fights, and they're all hedging their bets, if you like, until they can be convinced what the bottom line is going to be. And they're talking multi-millions.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, look, Saudi Arabia is the force behind this. A lot of fighters are putting off fighting so they can get that big paycheck. Maybe at the end of the year, say maybe December or January now, maybe. But it's a shame. From what I'm hearing is Frank Warren's in an interview with Michael Benson from TalkSport. He's saying Tyson Fury possibly could be fighting in the UK before a possible fight in Saudi Arabia in January. Who do you think at this point Tyson Fury can fight? Because there's been a lot of opponents named and no one's actually gone through with the fight.
Well, Tyson Fury could fight any of them. Usyk, Joshua, I don't think he'll want a fourth fight with Wilder. I mean, I can't see the sense in that. But, the two fights that matter to Fury now is to fight Usyk for the unified title and to fight Joshua, which is the one fight I think the British public desperately wants to see.
I do need to ask you, obviously, Tyson Fury has been very vocal on social media the last year or so. Do you believe a lot of fans are getting frustrated now? It's getting to a point of frustration where there's a lot of talk on social media, not just from Tyson, I'm talking about other fighters, and nothing's happening. But it seems to be that Tyson Fury is getting a brunt of this negativity from social media.
Yeah, not only the fight fans are getting frustrated, people like me, the boxing writers, are extremely frustrated by this, the situation being what it is. We want to see the top people fight, and want to see them fight each other. And at the moment, it seems to be the heavyweight division is certainly in a limbo. And the sooner it gets out of it, the better for boxing, let alone for the fighters.
They're talking about Anthony Joshua fighting Deontay Wilder towards the end of the year, but it seems that there was going to be a fight for August the 12th for AJ to fight Dillian Whyte. At this present time, talks are breaking down once more. What do you make of that situation?
Well, as I say, talk. They're talking the talk and they're not walking the walk. I mean, it's easy to talk and people throwing huge sums of money around, but until they actually sign contracts, nothing's happening. They can talk all they like. No one's going to believe them. The belief will set in when they sit down, put their signature on a fight contract.
Do you believe that Anthony Joshua does need to fight someone in between a possible fight with Deontay Wilder, especially after his performance against Jermaine Franklin?
Well, that's the problem, isn't it, with Joshua? Who do you put him in with? Can you take the risk of putting him in too high? I mean, I think that Joshua has not got much time left as a fighter. I think, you've got to be very careful who they match him with. I mean, I know Eddie Hearn would disagree with me vehemently, but I don't think Joshua has got more than one fight left in him.
Do you feel like then the Dillian Whyte fight, if it should happen, is a very dangerous fight for Joshua before, or do you feel like it's the right fight for Joshua?
Well, most heavyweight fights are dangerous fights, particularly when you've got big punches in the ring. So every fight is dangerous, and obviously, while Dillian Whyte nearly knocked out Joshua in their first fight some years ago, and would fancy to really knock him out the second time. They don't like each other, and so it has the makings of an extremely exciting return, which every boxing fan would love to see. Whether it's going to happen, well, we're back to the same argument. Who knows?
Final one from myself before I let you go. A big fight has been made in the States in Errol Spence Jr. versus Terence Crawford. Now I see a smile on your face because a fight that's actually been made, that fight fans have wanted for years. Give me your thoughts on that fight. How does that fight play down?
Well, you've got two great fighters, unbeaten, and it reminds me, of course, of Pacquiao and Mayweather. That fight, unfortunately, was 2 years too late in happening because Pacquiao was way past his best. This is just about on the fringe of it being too late. Both men are in their 30s, but that is one fight. It could be the fight of the year. I'm really looking forward to it. My gut feeling is that Crawford is just that little bit too versatile for Spence because he can switch hit. He's a beautiful boxer. He can punch. And, something at the back of my mind tells me that Errol Spence had a very serious accident not long ago in which he nearly got killed in a car crash. And, as my dear old grandmother used to say, that sort of thing doesn't go into your boots. So my gut feeling tells me Crawford will win, possibly on points rather than stoppage.
Perfect. Colin Hart, always a pleasure to talk to yourself, sir. Thank you so much for talking to Pro Box fans. May we long see you around the scene a lot more.
I've been going for 50 odd years, so I don't know how much longer, but I shall try.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for talking to Pro Box fans. Appreciate your time.